Hi friends, welcome to my channel TotalQA.com. Before we move on and discuss about today's topic, I will give an overview of our channel. If you look at our channel is TotalQA.com, we have posted a lot of videos in this channel, and also if you look at here, there is a playlist. You can go through this playlist. There are different playlists available: Selenium WebDriver, CSS tutorial, Java, and also XPath tutorial, and also we are going to add one more tutorial today, that is REST API. That also we will be adding a new playlist as part of this channel. And also in addition to that, we also have a blog, TotalQA.com. So suppose if you wanted to check your knowledge in different tools or different technologies, you can just do one thing: just go to TotalQA.com, just type quiz, click on search. So you will find different quiz available: CSS quiz, HTML quiz, QTP basic quiz and interview questions for beginners, REST API quiz, Java online OOPS quiz, test your knowledge, and also Selenium WebDriver advanced online quiz 1, and so on Java online quiz, test your knowledge, Java basics. So there are so many quizzes available in the blog TotalQA.com. Just access the website TotalQA.com, total-qa.com, just type quiz and click on enter. You get to know a lot of quizzes available. And also today's topic is about REST API. So what is REST API? So what are the different types of REST methods available? So all this information is available, but we will discuss in detail in the today's topic. Okay. As part of the today's topic, the main agenda is how do we automate REST services using REST API. So when you say REST, what is REST? REST stands for Representational State Transfer. Mainly uses HTTP protocol to exchange messages between client and server using different methods such as get, post, put, delete. And in today's video, we're going to discuss how do we automate REST services for the get method using REST Assured API. Okay, so before we move on, let's try to understand a request. So how the request is framed, what is the content of the request we need to provide, and what is the response and the response body and response headers. We will try to understand using an example. So let's select an example. We selected COVID-19 API, which is available online. Anyone can try to access this API and try to understand the request, response, request headers, response headers. All this information is available online. Let me access COVID-19 API. Okay. COVID-19 API is available online. If you look at here, coronavirus COVID-19 API, if you see, this is the request we have to use to get to know information of all these services. Means when I say api.covid19api.com, when I hit this URL in the browser, I get a response. In the response, if you look at, we can have information for all routes, countries route, country status day 1 live route, country status day 1 route. So this information, this default API, if you hit, we get all these request details one by one. If you look at here, all route, countries route. See here, like that, so many information is available. Okay, so now let's understand this request and try to automate this request using REST Assured API. First, let's understand this request. For that, let me copy this request, put it in the browser. And before we hit enter, right click, say inspect. Okay, try to put this within the bottom of the web page. Go to the network. Okay, and select all here, select all. Then hit enter in your keyboard. So we get to know the request here. This is the request we sent. And if you try to focus now, let me try to keep it outside. Okay, here, this is our request URL. This is the get method. This is the response status code. These are all the response headers. By sending this request, we got this response code, we got these response headers, and also we got this response body. Okay, and we don't pass. If you look at here, one more point, we have request headers. We can even pass request headers here to get the response. So what is important for us to understand? We need the request URL. We need to know what is the type of the method, and also we need to know what is the request headers. What are the request headers we have to pass? Then we get response headers. Then we got response. So let me list down for any API what is important. For any API, the important is from the request perspective, we should know what is the REST API endpoint. What is the method type? What are request headers? What are query params? If you know these details, we can send the request to the server and get the response back. From the response perspective, what is the response code? What are response headers? What is the response body? So all these details are required for us to understand a request. Here if you look at what is REST API endpoint, the REST API endpoint here is this one. What is the method type? The method type is get. What are request headers we have to pass? We can take any request header as of now. Suppose I wanted to take the request header as authority. This is a request header I have to set. Yes, I'll set this request header. As of now, we'll set one request header. And what are the query params? Right now, there are no query parameters available for this request. So I'll explain what is query params. Suppose, for example, you are trying to select all the employees, right? And you are selecting a specific employee. Say employee ID is equal to 1. This employee ID is equal to 1 is a query param. Means it should be like this. Suppose you are trying to put this as an employees. Say here, get all employees. But here you put ampersand and employee ID equal to 1. This ampersand employee ID equal to 1 is a query param. But right now there is no query params required for this API. We will just move on. Let's try to understand what is the response code now. The response code for sending this request is 200, right? That's what we have seen. Inspect again. The response status code is 200. Okay. The response header. So let's try to put some information. It's not easy to put all this information. Let's put response header is this. And response body, it is in response tab. So let me try to put some information. Okay, so all this information is important for us to understand before you test either a get method or a post method or a put method or a delete method. Okay, now the post method, how to test the post method, we will try to put a separate video you can go through as part of the REST API tutorial with clear examples, and also an API to test the post services also will be part of that video. Now, I got the required information. Suppose, for example, I wanted to write test cases using this information. It's always important before we go for automation, we have to write test cases. We have to design our test cases. So now, let me open the test case template for writing and testing the REST services. So here if you look at the test case ID is the column, there's a description, there's a REST endpoint URL, what are the request headers, expected, actual, comments. The test case ID, test case 001, validate the response code for COVID-19 API. This is the REST endpoint URL, and the request headers are content type JSON. You can give any request header based upon the request we sent, and expected, validate the response code as 200. Similarly, test case 002, validate the response body contains name as get all data. If you look at the information here, this is what I mentioned. The all root name has get all data. Okay, then validate the response headers. When I send this REST endpoint URL, I need to validate the response headers contains connection. You can check here. The response headers contains connection here. Suppose, for example, you want to validate the connection or any header value. Suppose I want to validate the response header contains content length. Yes, equip it here in the Excel. Validation of content length returned in the response. So any response header value we can validate, the response code we can validate, the response body we can validate, the response details, information we have to validate to test this REST endpoint URL. So the main important point here is the response body. How are we going to understand the response body? Okay, let's spend some time to understand the response body. If you look at this is the request URL, and this is the response we got it. So let me copy this response. I copied this response, then open a website, JSON formatter website. JSON formatter website. It will take this JSON. It's a JSON JavaScript object notation, because what is the response type? If you look at this request response here, the response type is, you can look at the response type. See here, response type is JSON, application JSON. The response header, it shows the content type we get as a response is of type application/JSON. It's a JSON response. It's a JavaScript object notation similar to XML, but it is lightweight and it is used to exchange the messages between client and server. Now let's understand the JSON. I copy pasted the response in the JSON formatter and I click on process. So we get the JSON response in a tree format. You know what is the parent, what is the child, or how do we know the different nodes? we can understand from this formatted JSON data. Let me copy this formatted JSON data. So one second, there is a here you can look at copy to clipboard. Copy the clipboard to this entire response we copied to the clipboard. Now let's access one more website, jsonpath.com. It's a very good website. It will help you to understand your data thoroughly. So let me copy paste this here, the input section. Let me refresh it. Okay, let me remove this entire section here. Then let me paste it here. So I got this as a response. Let's try to understand this response. Suppose, for example, I wanted to fetch this name. I want to validate the name contains get all data that is part of all root. So how do we get this data here? All root dot name. So if you want to validate the response, you need to know the path, the JSON path. What is the JSON path here? All root dot name. Suppose, for example, I wanted to understand and validate the response where the all root description is this. Just copy this, put it here. You get the description. So as part of testing the REST API, REST services mainly, we have to understand request response details, and also in the response body, what is the JSON path we need to identify, we need to fetch to validate the outcome. That is also important. Once we gathered all the required information, once we write the test cases thoroughly and the test cases are successfully passed, then start automating these services using an API. What is an API? It's an application programming interface. Okay, so let's try to understand how are we going to test these services using an API. So we have designed the test cases. I showed the test cases. I will upload this information in the blog. The entire information you can try to access from the blog. The test cases, the documentation part, all this information will be part of the blog. You can check that. I will provide these details in the description section, or else if you have any comments, you can just put the comment in the chat window of the, or provide a comment section in the YouTube channel. I can try to help you accordingly. Now, prerequisites. So what are the prerequisites for automating the REST services, right? Prerequisites for automating REST services, because we are done with the manual testing. We are trying to start with automation. So what are the prerequisites for REST services? Mainly, we have different APIs which are available. One is com.jware. Next one is io.restissued. These are the two different APIs which are available right now for us to test REST services. Okay. So what is the difference between the two? Actually, both are same. com.jware or io.restissued, both are same. io.restissued is which is the latest version, which we are going to use as part of this example to test. Okay, so always we write a Java program to test the REST services, and also we use Eclipse as an IDE, and we create a Maven project, and we maintain the io.restissued dependency in the pom.xml file. So these are the prerequisites. Eclipse is required, Maven project is required, and in the Maven project we have to create a pom.xml file, and in the pom.xml file we have to maintain io.restissued dependency. Okay, so let's download or let's copy the dependency information from the Maven repository. io.restissued Maven dependency. Click on it. Okay, and you can check any of the version. Let me take 4.3.0, because it has been used by 172 people. Let me copy this and I'll just put here, copy it to the clipboard, then go back here. Now we are ready to automate the COVID-19 API, the get method and the response, validate the response body, response headers, response code. So let's start. I opened Eclipse already. I have added the required dependency in the pom.xml file, and when I go back to the package explorer, when I expand the Maven dependencies, I see Trust Assured 4.3.0 is available. Let me expand this API. In this API, we are mainly interested in few of the classes. Let me just try to open here. If you look at, so here. So mainly headers class, which we are interested in the example. We will try to cover that as well. And also we will cover response. You can see response class, response body class. Suppose for example, once we send the request, we get a response object. In the response object, we can try to retrieve the response body. In the response body, we can fetch the values using the JSON path. Okay. Similarly, the request specification, when you say specification, this is about request. So request specification will be there, response specification will be there. So all the classes which are required for request and response specification are part of this package. So once we understand the API here in the Rest Assured 4.3.0, let's go ahead and start writing the program, the first basic program. And one more important point, we always use TestNG for automating or validate the test results, right? We validate the test results using TestNG. So we also need TestNG as well. Okay, so let's start now. I'll write a very basic program today to understand get method, to test the get method, right? Public void validate COVID-19 API get method, right? And we will mark this method as a test case at the rate test and try to import it as well. Okay. First step, as I said, before we start, we need to create a request specification object. Request specification object. Why? Because we have to build our request. What is our URL? The REST endpoint URL. So that's the reason first we have to build the request specification object. Request specification object where we provide request equal to rest assured dot given. Okay, and right click, quick fix, import this information. Now once we created this, we have to understand, do we need to add any request headers? Do we need to add any request headers? Right. Suppose for example, if you look at here, when you send the request and when you look at the request headers, these are the request headers. If you go to the bottom, if you see here the request headers, these are the request headers we have to set. Suppose for example, let me set few request headers. Actually these are all default, we don't need to set all of them, but I'll show you how do we do the request headers. Okay, suppose I want to set the authority as this, as a request header. Okay, how are we going to write a program to set this request headers? Okay, let's see now. First thing, let's take a map. An object. Headers map, request headers. Let's try to put request headers. Let's take linked hash map. Okay, what is the difference between a hash map and a linked hash map? The difference is linked hash map maintains the order of insertion, or if you are using hash map also fine, but as of now we use linked hash map. The reason being it maintains the order of insertion. It doesn't change the order. Now let me try to import for map as well. Now request headers dot put, what is the key, what is the value. Okay, so what is the key? Suppose for example we are trying to add one request. We are trying to add one request header. You can copy this here. This is the authority. This is the value. Okay. Suppose these are request header we set. So it's a key value pair. So for this request, you have to add these headers. See here, request dot headers. You have to pass a map. A map we are passing, that is request headers. So let me write down some comments. So build the request object. Add the request headers to the request object. So similarly, you can add any request header. Request headers dot put. Suppose for example you want to add one more request. Yes, you can add it. You can add as many as you can to the request headers and try to add this map to the request object. That is important. Okay, let's take one more. Say method is default get only, you don't have to set. Suppose for example this one, or accept encoding. Let's take accept encoding. Okay, that's it. Now we are done with the adding the request headers to the request object. Let me put request object, request specification object. Easy for us to relate as well. Request specification object. Okay. Now we are ready, right? But one thing is, we are having this REST endpoint URL, string REST endpoint URL. Let's try to store this. It's a string here. What is the REST endpoint URL? This is the REST endpoint URL. Now we have to send this request to get the response back. For that we need a response object. Response. Now let's try to frame the request. Request dot, I think not request, we are just changing a request specification object here. Request specification object dot when you send this request, what is the request you send? When you send this request, this is the request I sent, the REST endpoint URL, and you get the response back. So when do you get a response? When you send this REST endpoint you get this response. And as per our test cases, we have to validate the response code, response body, response headers. Right now, let's try to write down the test case, or else let's try to validate response code. Here we put response code. Or let me write it down everything in one test case, then we can break it down into multiple test cases afterwards. Right now, let's focus on the response code. So if you want to get the response code, so we have to write a logic now, right? For that, let's start. So let's try to put, we got the response. In the response, first thing, response dot, you can see there are so many methods available for us. You can see here, get status code, which will give the response. And what is the outcome here? The outcome for the response status code is integer. Response code. Now, what is expectation? We are expecting this should be 200, right? So you said dot, this is your actual response code. And what is our expected response code? We are expecting the response code as 200. Where do we get this expected response code? If you go to the test cases, we have the response code as 200. Now, set equals actual response code versus expected response code. So this is one of the test case which we had completed to validate the response code. Okay, so let's try to execute this test case and see now. To see the result, right click, run as test-ng test. It takes some time. Right, the test case is passed and you can see the results here. Validate COVID-19 API GET method is passed successfully. So we got the response code as 200. So we are done with this. Now, next validation. Validate the header, the response header contains, say either take any key. The response header contains, suppose you wanted to say the response header contains this one. What is the response header value you want to fetch? You can copy this response header value, total value, or you can take anything like content encoding or content length. Let's take content length. So validate the response headers contains a content length 1119, right? 1219. Now, how do we write a logic for this? First thing, get all the response headers. Get all the response headers. Response dot get headers. So what is the outcome of the get headers method? Get headers method is giving headers as a response. Headers as a response. Headers. Response headers. Import. Now, let me try to fetch all the response header values. Response headers dot as list. So, it is important that we need to fetch the all the headers. When you fetch all the headers, either you get a set or a list as a response here. Here the method as list method is giving a list as a response. Let me store it. List of headers. Then here header list. Now all of us familiar how do we retrieve the values from the list, right? Especially in Selenium also we always use list, right? Driver dot find elements by dot xpath, right? You get a list. Similarly here also there is list. When you have a list, it's easy to write a for loop and retrieve each and every item in the list using a get method. So let me write down the for loop now. For int I equal to 0, I less than headers list dot size I plus plus now we need to fetch the key and the value. The key and the value means the key here is content length, the value is this. Okay, let's try to print all the headers for understanding now. Headers list dot get I dot get name, what is the key name, and headers list dot get I dot get value. What is the key? What is the value? Let's try to print all the headers. So I'm just printing all the headers. Right. So let me execute this program to understand the headers. We are printing all the headers with a key and a value. Let me execute this. There might be some delay when you send a request to the server and get the response back. You can see here, we get all the requests. See here, our requests, the response headers. You see here response headers. See, content type, content length, connection, everything we are getting. So only thing is we need to just validate them. Now, suppose if headers list dot get I dot get name dot equals or contains, you can validate and go inside. Contains, suppose for example you want to validate the content length, contains content length, go inside. And what is your expected content length is 1119. Now headers list dot get I dot get value dot equal to expected. So we'll try to do one thing. We'll try to say int actual content length. We have to retrieve this, right? Let's retrieve this. This one we store it here. Okay, get value, we get it. I think it is giving a string, we can convert that, not an issue. We're getting a string here. And also we can convert this string integer into this string also we can convert into integer, right? We can do that. Now, so we got the expected content length as from the test cases we got 1119. And this is our actual content length. We are fetching this value from the response headers. We got the response headers and we are trying to get the value for a particular response header name, that is content length. Let's try to compare now. Asset equals, say, expected actual. We try to convert this into integer. First integer dot parse int What is the use of integer.parseInt? Which will help us to convert this string into integer, because it's integer, right? 111 is an integer, not a string. So try to convert the string into integer and try to validate the result now. That's it. So this is how you validate the response headers that contains length as 1119. Okay. Now let's execute the code and see whether we got the result as pass or fail. Yeah, we got some error here. What is it? Let's see. Okay, so headers list dot get I dot get value. So actually, if you look at here, let's look at the response in the console. The console, we got content length. This is the content length, right? This is the one we have to take. Did we take that? No, we did a wrong thing here. This is our key. This is our key. That's the reason it's always better to print all the request headers, the key and the value. This is the key I am passing. Once I get the name contains content length, I get the value, I store the value, then I compare, right? Let's try to execute now. You got it what I'm saying? Right? Here, first thing, we need to print all the response headers. Once we print all the response headers, we know what is the key and what is the value. Then take a particular key and validate your response header. See, now the result is passed. Why? Because I have taken the content length which I printed in the console. Now, second validation is also completed. The third important validation is how do we validate the response body? See here, the response body, this is very important, right? How do you validate the response body contains the name get all data? Okay. Now, let's try to recollect what we discussed for JSON path. The JSON path, once we get this response, we have to give the root as all root dot description or all root dot name. Just keep in mind this point. This is what we use to get this name in the program as well. Now, go back to the program. Next validation, validate the content of the response body. Right. For this, what we have to do is, we got the response here. You can see here we have got the response.get status code, response.get headers. Now what do you need? Get status code, get headers. Now get response body, response.get response body. For that we have get body is there, and you can convert this into a string, response.getBody.toString, you get the response and you can print the response first to get whether we are getting a response or not, right? Response body. Let's try to print this in the console and see whether we are getting response body or not. Right? Let's execute this now. Again, take some time to print the value in the console. See, we got the response, right? Response body. Okay. So while what is happening is we are getting response.getBody.toString, but here we are getting some object, not toString. Let's try to see here. If you see the outcome, we're getting some outcome. It's an object, the hash code of an object. So we need a string to be printed. Let's try to do one thing. Pretty print response.getBody as string we will take, because toString is returning an object. Do you see here? Actually what we have done, we converted this into an object. right? But we need the string, content as a string. Let's try to take as string. Let me execute this. See, not toString, it's as string. ToString returns object representation, not the content of the response body. Now we got the content of the responsive body. See here, this we are getting as a string. See here, very big string, right? Now, but it doesn't look good, right? If you want to print the response using JSON formatter response like that, then you have to give here as a pretty print. Let me copy this information, keep it here. But what I do here, only thing what I do is to get the response body in a particular JSON formatter way, just give pretty print. It will format the JSON response, print properly. Again execute this. Take some time. Now, if you look at here, we got the response in a JSON formatter way. See, this is the string format, but this is a pretty print. It will try to print the JSON response in the formatted way. Now, but what is important for us to focus here? The main interesting thing we are focusing here is the body content. Okay, then let's try to keep it in the top. We just print it for our understanding, but we mainly focus on the response body as a string, right? I'm interested in response body as a string. Now, let me try to get the content of the response body. If you want to get the content of the response body, we have to understand the JSON path. The JSON path here is all root.name. Just keep in mind. Let me write down the information. We have a JSON path is available as part of the API equal to new. Let's create an object of the JSON path. And here let's try to pass response.getBody as string. Already we are taking as a string. Let's take as a string only again. String. Yeah. Let's try to import. You can see here change to JSON path io.restissue.path.json. Let me try to import that. Now we got the JSON path. Now it's very simple. JSON path dot get. You have to get string path. Get string path. What's the path we have to pass? Go back to the JSON path here. Just copy this. Don't put dot. Not required. Just take all root dot name. That's your result. So I can take here string expected, string actual response body, string expected response body. So what is expected response body we are expecting here? You can see the response here. The response body is the name as get all data. Now let's compare. Here let's say set equals say actual response body versus expected response body. Okay, now we have three different assertions, one for response code, one for header, response header, one for response body. So we can do one more thing also. We can combine these three assertions, create a soft assertion, which is part of test-ng. Soft assertion SA is equal to new soft assertion SA dot. You can try to remove here. Just put SA dot. SA is a object for soft assertion. I think if you remember the concepts of test-ng, if you want to validate multiple checkpoints and multiple validations. If you want to perform as part of one test case, you have to use soft asset. Okay, not soft assertion, soft asset. Use soft asset. It will be helpful for you to validate multiple validation results, right? See here, SA dot. Copy this. Put it here. And finally, we call SA.asset all to validate all the assertions. If all the assertions are passed, like response code, response headers, response body, the test case will be passed successfully. Okay, let's wait for a few minutes and see the results now. The results are successful. We got the response back. And also in TestNG, we can even check the response that is generated in the test output folder. Let me try to open it. Open the test output folder here. Let me open this in a browser. Right click, open with the browser. Right, on the show. It is successful. Okay, now, so we're able to successfully validate the COVID-19 API for the GET method, and we have seen the REST issued API, right? And we validated response code, validated response headers, validated the response body. Okay, fine. So this example will be posted in the blog. You can refer to the blog information for this example, for this material information, and try to download it and try to test the REST services for the GET method. Okay, so if you like my video, please subscribe and share with your